Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Scuf Gaming Showdowns. I'm Chris Puckett, joined tonight by one of my favorites. We got the Ginger, Mr. Benson, the Red Panda, is in the booth
Hey.
tonight. Whoa, look at that backdrop. What do you got going on there? I got like
Oh,
green lighting here. You got a green screen.
I thought I wanted to match you. Color coordination and whatnot.
I like it. It's Scuf Green tonight here, Benson.
Exactly. Scuf
Well,
Showdown, bro.
we got another showdown. What this means is we're giving a Scuf MVP, the Scuf One controller. We're giving an MVP, a very special, customized MVP controller to the person who has the best stats this evening, or the guy that you and I decide earns it the most. Benson, our matchup going to be a pretty interesting one. We have two teams playing with two subs, both of them in the top 4 of the COD League. We have EnVy, who is currently sitting at number 2, facing off against FaZe Black, who is currently sitting at number 4. Fears is filling in for Saints, as Saints is out of power due to the storm. And over for Envious, we're going to see Study replaced by Fizzer this evening, I believe. So looking at these two squads, how do you think they stack up?
I don't know why, but recently I've been watching a lot of Envy's streams. I just think they're so talented. It's one of the questions I get asked every single day on Twitter. I'm not sure if you get the same, but people always ask me, what team can beat EG? What's
Yep.
going to be the team that's going to beat EG? And I always think to myself, it's either going to be Envious or maybe a couple of other teams. I'm not going to name them though, because obviously Envy are going to be the main focus of tonight. But I always just think they've come so close in the past, and to me they just look always just so good, no matter what.
Well, close in terms of placements. They've finished in the finals, but
Yep.
in the last 2 finals, it's been 3-0. But EnVy, they've been kind of going on a run. Let's show you some of the stats heading into tonight's matches. EnVy is at number 2. They've been moving up through the ranks. Been very consistent, over 75% win ratio in their matches overall. The squad has been playing extremely well. And FaZe Black, they started off super hot. Remember, they were on top of the leaderboard for a while. EnVy actually at number 3, 19-9, tied there with Optic Gaming. FaZe Black, they started off on top of the leaderboard. They fell a little bit as EG passed them, and now Optic and EnVy has passed them as well, as they've had 2 1-2 nights, now sitting at 17 and 11. So FaZe Black, they've dropped down to a 61% win ratio. EnVy is actually sitting at a 68% match win ratio. And FaZe Black is the only team to have taken out Evil Geniuses. They did it under Strictly Business at the U.S. regionals. Of course, I was talking kind of MLG tournaments. UGC Niagara, we saw Complexity EG now lose to XGN. But what is it about FaZe Black and Ghost that makes them such a good team?
There's actually a lot which you could really say about the FaZe Black lineup. Honestly, as a group of individuals, some of my favorite players just to like chat to, like as individuals, I would say, they're all really nice guys, fantastic players. I'm not gonna lie, Dido, I've always been a fan of him personally.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I just really think he's a very talented player. Ever since I started casting, really, he's been one of those players that I've always been like keeping my eye out, watching. Centra as well is a fantastic individual, really nice, down to earth guy. Then of course you have Formal, and this for me is the biggest story when you look at this team. Obviously, he used to be a Halo player, moved over to COD, and yeah, I think everyone can really argue, he's been the best, I guess, that's transitioned across. Maybe, obviously, apart from Crim6, but I don't really think a lot of people really know that he used to play Halo.
Yeah.
Whereas everyone seems to know, Formal and Able, those two battling out who's going to win the first MLG championship across both platforms, because, of course, Crim never actually won a Halo championship, but he's won so many COD championships, it's unreal.
Right, and Crim, big player, he's been in the top with EG since the beginning. Formal, he came in much later than Crim6.
Right.
In fact, a full game later with Call of Duty Ghosts as opposed to Black Ops 2. Formal, his sniper has been on point. He's kind of been a little up and down, though, in the previous matches I've watched from him. He either goes huge
Really?
or he's going to be struggling a little bit early on. And it's really host-dependent at times, too. When he's on host, look for him to drop over 35 kills. It's some of the most disgusting stuff we can watch.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of people complain about that. But hey, it's going to happen. It's online play. We've seen what he can do at LAN events as well. He's a very talented individual. No one can take anything away from his ability. I'm just curious to see if he is going to be able to pick himself up a Call of Duty championship as well. I think that'd be pretty cool.
Maybe one day. Maybe one day. Well,
maybe.
EnVy and FaZe Black. This is a matchup between number 3 and 4 overall. serious implications on the COD League. Also tonight, later on, if you want to watch the streams, you can see we're going to have Evil Geniuses playing, and Denial, I believe, is the fourth squad this evening. So big matches to look out for. I'm getting into our first game. Ben, did you get any invites?
I haven't had any invites. No one ever invites me, and I always end up having to watch the first game on the teams.
It's pretty offensive. I got to do a Merc party invite. I'm not smart enough to work the Xbox One to go get into that party invite. But it looks like we're still waiting on FaZe Black to get on. I'm going to take a look at their stream as well. But this should be a really good matchup. I want to see, how does Fears fill in for this FaZe Black squad?
Right.
Knowing that he's an AR player. Saints, he's pulled out the AR quite a bit, especially on Octane. But you also see him playing that aggressive objective role with the SMG. How does FaZe Black kind of move around? Also, FizzerP, the S&D superstar, filling in for Study. Study takes on that sniper role in S&D. FizzerP not always known for pulling out the sniper. How is this going to mix in? What's your thoughts on FizzerP as a fill-in? He's obviously a hot free agent. He was picked up this last weekend, made it all the way to the grand finals with Optic Nation for the 2K. And also, he's going to be playing with Strictly Business at the X Games.
Yeah, I love FizzerP. I cannot praise FizzerP enough. He seems to be one of those players which he never really seems to find himself within like a really solid team. But every time you watch him play, I remember you look back at MLG PAX Invitational, Black Ops 2, he pulled out a sniper rifle in CTF. And me and Revan were talking about it the night before, and I was like, Revan, I would love to see someone use a sniper in CTF. And Revan looked at me as if I was crazy. He was like, that's never going to happen. Next day, FizzerP does it, and he must have dropped like 30, 40 kills with a sniper rifle. And everyone was like, whoa, what's going on? FizzerP's that kind of player who will be the first to try something completely different, something that you've never even considered doing yourself, and he'll make it work. And then other players sit there and you think, should we try that? Is this possible? Like, can we do that? So he's always a player to look out for. But S&D, he's renowned throughout the community as being one of the best S&D players on the game, period.
One of the best in S&D. Will he struggle in the respawn game modes? That's something to think about, considering that our first 4 games, it's only 1 S&D, 3 respawns. So I'm just waiting on the invite. Sensor has sent me a party invite. Thank you, Sensor. As soon as I get in, we will join up. FaZe Black versus EnVy is the match tonight. We want to get your thoughts, guys. Keep your tweets coming all night long. First off, who is going to take this series? And second of all, I want to know, who do you think is going to go big in game number 1? You can tweet me. I'm at MLG Puckett right here. And tweet Benson over there. Down that way. At Benson_EU. Benson, you've been watching a lot of matches recently this week. Who has been impressing you? Because I know you have both Curse Orange and Curse Black playing from the house. You've been looking over their shoulders, taking a look at their league matches. Out of the 12 teams in the league right now, who are you looking at to finish in the top 4?
Top 4? Ooh, that's a real tough question, actually, because I think we're going to be in a similar situation as what happened at the end of the last season, where the last couple of days really got very, very tense. Obviously, EG, let's be honest, they're going to be there. Doesn't matter what happens.
Yeah, they only have 5 match losses. Yeah, they're going in.
I mean, I genuinely feel like I could replace any one of those players, and they would still somehow carry us to victory. That's how good these guys really are. So you always have to have them there. So you're basically asking what other 3 teams are going to join.
All right, what other 3 teams join you?
There you go. So you got Optic Gaming obviously looking very solid right now. Then you have Envious. Now, I think a lot is going to depend on when Optic get everyone back to the team house. Now, don't get me wrong, they've been playing well regardless. Like, they really are playing strong. But if they get everyone back in the team house as prep before, any of these major events that we have coming up, I expect to see them go unbeaten again. Like, that's the record. Throughout both seasons, they've never lost a game or a series of COD League whilst being in the house. It's completely 100%. They don't lose when they're all in the same house. Don't know what it is. It's just fact. So, with a couple of these big events coming up, I would expect to see them continue that record across and push them into the top 4 comfortably, which is really good for them considering where they were at last season. At a similar stage. They didn't really have the best season last time, but this time playing very, very well. Envious, you can't count them out either. So really, the question is, what's going to be the 4th team? That's the big thing for me.
So Optic Gaming, EnVy, and EG, you got a lot of faith in these squads, but not so much in FaZe Black. They're not a shoo-in like the other 3, in your opinion.
I wouldn't say it's going to be a shoo-in. I think it's going to get very interesting on the last couple of weeks of this season. I think that's when we're really going to see a couple of teams maybe throw away some games, which everyone's going to sit there and say, you really should have won that. That's easy points. So I think the two FaZe teams are definitely going to have a bit of a fight towards it. Denial have really surprised me, as a Vex, actually, to be fair to them. They've been winning some games, which everyone really has been like, oh, wow, these guys can actually play quite well. So watch out for one of them maybe making a surprise. Obviously, it's all about finishing the top 8, but that top 4 spot just feels a lot better. So realistically, I'll be looking at one of the two FaZe teams.
One of the two FaZe teams. All right, I like it. Ben, I just got the invites. I'm sending them to you. Make sure you go over to the broadcaster mode. Again, guys, tonight, FaZe Black facing off against EnVy. We're going to see some great games. We have Formal, Dito playing with Censor, of course, their original third. And then Fears is filling in for Saints while the Thunderstorms have knocked out his internet. For the EnVy side, Parasite, Nameless, and the lobby, Merc will be joining momentarily, and FizzUp will be the fourth this evening. And I want to get a good look at FizzUp tonight. Of course, we highlighted him a little bit from the 2K this past weekend, but this is the guy filling in for Strictly Business. How strong is he in the Respawn game modes, considering that he's been grinding S&D quite a bit in game battles recently? Is he able to fill in? Is he able to slay and keep up with everyone else? Also, what do the two teams do now that their normal starters are missing? What kind of change-ups and strategies are they going to want to employ? For the Study FizzUp mix-up in Respawn game modes, what is FizzUp going to have to do to take over Study's old role?
That's going to be the big challenge for FizzUp tonight. He's really going to have to play quite aggressive, because Study was one of those players who was just really, really aggressive. And for me, the big thing about Study was he used to be very inconsistent, and he had Rambo always there who would kind of just, calm him down when he needed to, and I think Rambo really helped him become very consistent. Now, obviously, he's teaming with a couple of players that he used to team with before, and I think he feels very, very comfortable. So FizzUp's going to have, I wouldn't say a tough role, because I think FizzUp's just a great player all around anyway. But when it comes to Respawn, FizzUp's definitely going to have to listen to what the other guys are saying, because the EnVy have their own strats, fantastic strats. So filling in is really quite tough now, I think. I think it used to be kind of easy. You could kind of pick any fourth and try and play. But now with the way that EnVy are developing some of their strategies that I've seen over the last couple of weeks, I think Fizz may have a bit of a tough job. But when it comes to S&D, if I'm Team EnVy, I'm sitting there mid-game taking notes, because that's how good FizzUp is at Search and Destroy.
I like it. Just waiting on Merc now, ladies and gentlemen. As Benson said, it's got to do a lot of listening, and there's some great communicators on this EnVy squad. Nameless, one of the best. Parasite's always talking, not always the best small talk in terms of communication callouts, but there's a lot of communication on this team and a lot of veteran leadership. Their captain, Merc, he's been gaming. He's already won the COD XP back in the day with Optic Gaming. He's been to 3 COD champs if you include XP in there, and he's only 20 years old. Really young, strong squads here on both sides. EnVy, of course, I don't think anyone is over 20 on that team. And then over on the FaZe Black crew, I don't think they have any 21-year-olds either. Pretty interesting stuff here. I think I was at my prime when I was 17 years old. Benson, when were you at your prime? Have you reached it?
I don't ever think I'll be at my prime, Puckett.
Never?
Let's just put it that way. No, Red Pandas, they don't reach prime.
It's okay.
They
awesome. Hibernate so well.
Exactly.
I like it. Well, Merc is in the room. We got our first map. It looks like Strike Zone was the free-for-all. It might also be the domination. This is a best of 5, guys, and we're going to go to a quick 60-second commercial break. As soon as we're back, the game should be started. FaZe Black versus EnVy on your Scuf Gaming Showdown.